Hey guys, welcome back to threadworks.com. My name is Heidi and I want to welcome you back. So in this video, I want to approach a topic that we all face and give you some tips on how to fight through it. Don't let fear of a technique stop you. And what I mean by that is for years, I wouldn't do anything with a zipper because I was afraid to do a zipper, which is in the realm of the world, shouldn't be a scary thing, but can be. So what I want to talk about today is how we can work through it and use it. Fear is just unfamiliarity in disguise. Because we've never done it before, there's automatically a little bit of a fear factor to it because you don't want to mess it up. It costs money for supplies. The list can go on and on. We can make a million excuses for why we don't do something. Once we do it, a lot of times we're just like, why did we wait so long to attempt this? There are different ways to get through this. One would be to take a class where someone's going to show you how to do it. Two would be to just jump right in and try it, but I recommend trying it on scrap fabric. Some of the scariest techniques that we face in sewing, if you want to use the word scary, is zippers, curved piecing, bias binding, all of the settings on your sewing machine that you've never touched because no one's shown you how to do it, like, couching cording or adding beading to stuff. But once we do it one time, that fear goes away and it doesn't come back. What you need to do is change your mindset about each of these techniques. Just remember, your first approach and your first attempt will not be perfect in most cases, and it shouldn't be. You've never done this before. It's a learning experience. So when you go to start a new technique, always practice on something that isn't precious to you. Don't use your favorite fabric to do a zipper for the very first time. Go get some muslin or some solids and play with that first until you feel comfortable with the technique before you use your precious supplies. Every mistake that you make will teach you more than a YouTube video. That means when you actually sit down and start sewing on something that you've never done before and you make a mistake, not only have you realized, oh, I've done it wrong, you may start to actually think about, how can I do this easier or better? And that's where hacks come in. Hacks come in when we try something we've never done before, make a mistake, and then try to figure our way out of that mistake. So don't ever look at a mistake as a bad thing. Look at it as a learning experience to make your sewing much more approachable and more fun. So here's a couple practical tips to process through that fear. Break the technique into the smallest possible steps. First, go buy the zipper. Second, get the fabric that you don't necessarily care about. Third, look at what kind of stabilizer you want to put in that bag. Fourth, think about what a zipper foot is. Watch videos on how people use a zipper foot, and then maybe just sew with the zipper foot, but not put a zipper in yet. Just get familiar with your equipment and the foot. And then finally, you can approach doing a zipper on one side of a bag and then the other side of the bag. That's just an example of taking a bigger thing and breaking it down into steps. You can do that for any technique that's holding you back. When you want to learn more about a thing, there are so many videos out there, as we are also making videos here, that you can reach out to and look at. So when you want to learn a new technique, I highly recommend finding 3 different video tutorials and watching them. Everybody has a different take on how they do something. Our personalities come through the camera. One may mesh with you better than another. And if you watch 3 different tutorials, you're going to end up getting the broad strokes that we all need to follow to get the project done. But you also may learn some really fun tips and tricks from each of those 3 people. And finally, give yourself permission to do ugly the first time. Meaning, you may succeed on actually getting through the technique, but it may not be perfect. It may not be the end results you want. That is allowed. We are not supposed to try something new and be perfect outside the box. So give yourself permission to create ugly items. And then once you've tackled your fear on a project, you can start thinking about all the other projects that you can now do because you have a new skill in your toolbox. Maybe you've never done bags before because you've never done a zipper. Maybe you have always wanted to do a button-down shirt, but you don't know how to make a buttonhole. Once you've actually tackled the skill, your world opens up and there's so many projects that you can do. If you need that as an incentive to do that first zipper, go for it. Second, the technique that you are afraid of, once you tackle it, it may become your favorite technique to use going forward. I always avoided zipper feet, which is why we're using this as an example. But now that I know how to use a zipper foot to put zippers in, I also will use that zipper foot for other things because I've gotten over my fear on how to use that foot. And the same thing applies to anything that you have a fear of. Once you've done it and all the mystery is out of the room, you may end up finding out you really enjoy doing that technique, and then you can put that technique into other uses. And finally, skills and confidence compound. Once you've gotten over one thing that you're afraid to tackle and you succeed in getting through the whole ordeal, everything else that you're worried about tackling becomes so much smaller and so much easier to approach. So go out there and tackle one thing that makes you nervous, you're not sure about, you don't know how to do it. And once you get through that, go ahead and try another. And before you know it, you will not have any fear of techniques in the craft that you are doing. So now that I've given you all of this inspiration on how to tackle a task that you may not want to do, I want you to go out there this week and do one thing in sewing that you've been putting off because you've been afraid to try it. Then leave us a comment below. Let us know what your scary technique is, and we can create videos for you in the future. And then finally, share your practical attempt at this. Let us know how you got over your fear. We would love to hear it in the comments below. So I hope that this video will inspire you to try something new this week, and I want to thank you for watching threadworks.com, and we'll see you in the next one.